impressive was Dylan?
Good. That's a really good offensive team, and actually faced them some before, so there was no ambush there. That was solid. He'd gone 5 2/3 last time, about 89, and so he had been in the 6th, so we were able to graduate him a little bit to the 7th. That was impressive. Pitched well again.
What was the main difference with him? I know the pitch count was kind of important over the last few starts, but he was able to be more economical. Is that just...
Yeah, he got some early contact, some early weak contact, and threw a lot of strikes. And they never could box one of the pitches out. You know, when you give hitters 3 things to worry about, it's a different approach for them. It's really tough on them when you give them 2 things to worry about. But location was good. I mean, he threw a lot of quality strikes. Nice to have Darren back. That was it's a very potent team. I mean, you're trying to keep them down as long as you can. You knew they were going to make a run at us.
How big a weapon is Darren to be able to come in these bases-loaded situations and get out of them? If he's done that more than once.
Well, I mean, just a reminder, you know, we've gone, over 2 months without him. And, you know, it's a reminder of the job that our guys did down there while he was gone. Just, you know, stay engaged in the competition of our division. So, you know, it's great to have him back. And some of the, you know, wear and tear that goes with the season, I mean, I hope it bodes well to him finishing strong, because usually about this time he's got a lot more appearances.
When Dylan gives up the hit, are you disappointed or relieved?
I'll never tell. You were disappointed because you were waiting to see what we were going to do, right? 7th was his last inning regardless. Yeah, that was going to be his last inning. That was pretty good progression for him. You know, he'd almost got through the 6th inning last time, and we had Brad up, and he was kind of going hitter to hitter. It's a good question, because it was a mixed bag. I knew he was that was it for him. You know, usually people stay away from the pitcher and everything during no-hitters. All the coaches were staying away from me. They were afraid I was going to ask them what they thought.
Is Bundy now at the point that you thought that this was the Bundy you were going to get?
Oh, exactly. I knew all along. Of course not. But nobody knew. We're not that smart. You just, you know, and we'll see. Who knows what's going to happen the next one? I wish it was that predictive. If it was, it'd be a lot easier. But you never know. It's very hard to do what he's done this last few outings. But he's had great preparation for it, not just from this spring and everything, but all the way through. You know, this guy basically pitched in Double-A last year. So, but he brings a lot of experience. This is his 2nd time in the big leagues. It's one of those guys, I've told you, it kind of takes in everything. He's a watcher. Watch him sometime during the game. He's watching. He asks good questions.
2 home runs off Darvish. It's not easy to do.
Yeah, Pete very quietly for about a month now has been a real threat for us. And in a time of need, he's been a real contributor for us. He's having good solid bats and being a lot more selective. I think he hit breaking balls both times, didn't he? Actually, the first one he hit was a pretty good pitch. He didn't get all that. He just strong.
Are you seeing anything different from Brad these last few weeks that suggested?
You see some, just the end game a little bit, but he's you know, he's a pitch away from getting out of it, and some ground balls that went through, and tough play that, you know, we played real well defensively. Chris made a lot of good plays, but no, I mean, trying to pass around the load, and everybody's got a little wear and tear on. Everybody.
Look, I know every major league team can hit and every team is dangerous, but is it even more impressive that Dylan's been able to these last 2 starts against that Colorado lineup and now this Texas lineup?
Yes. And, you know, it gives you an idea of what he's capable of. And I like the fact that it seems as once he's gotten into the rotation, he's been more efficient with his pitches. And I think a lot of that had to do with a role that he really was trying to work his way into. I think once we got a feel for what best suited him, it made it tough on the bullpen. But, you know, we're getting a return for it now.
Buck, when you get somebody back after a couple months like O'Day, is it almost like getting a new player at the trade deadline?
Oh, it's a great addition. Just like when we get Joey back in September, we get some other people that we're missing. Who am I forgetting? Dunsing's moving well. I mean, would give us a left-hander down there at some point. And who else am I missing that's down there? McFarland. And, add Steve. And, Miley. So I don't know if anybody made a better addition during the trade period than we did with Darren.
Well, you talk a lot about how when it comes to Bundy, there's no grid. No one's ever proven that there's any science to that. At the same time, Toronto is moving Aaron Sanchez back to the bullpen to try and limit his innings. When you see something like that happen, does it give you pause at all? Make you think at all, or not so much?
Two completely different situations. It's their business. They know their player a lot better. I've got my hands full managing our team, and we backed off at the front end to have him at the end, and they are where they are because of some of the things he's done. He's a quality pitcher, and they know what they're doing. I'll let them manage their business.
Well, you always put team ahead, but the second most managerial wins in Orioles history now, officially passing Paul Richards. What does that mean to you?
Well, I was thinking one of the players told me, Dad, today all those guys have passed away. I keep looking. Is there any active ones? So I'm not far behind them from that standpoint. No, it's people made me aware of it. So it just means I've been doing it for a long time. I had been lucky enough to have good players that allowed you to do it for a while. That's about the extent of it. Paul Richards, great baseball man. Gosh, we'd all like to be half the baseball guy he was. I remember reading his book and all the stuff growing up, and he was way ahead of his time. Special. I know Dan was real close to him. He treated Dan real well at a time that, a lot of guys of his stature didn't have to, so that's always impressive to hear about somebody that you really respected growing up, to hear that from somebody that had day-to-day interaction with him. That's like, people talking to me about Billy Martin. One thing I remember most about Billy is he had time for me. He made time, really, for all the minor league managers. It was a big deal to him. So to hear that with Paul and Dan, that's pretty nice.
I think it's an important advantage the Orioles have that they have that respect for the old school.
I think everybody does. I mean, I don't know what everybody else does. We put the pictures out there trying to make that addition. Someone asked me if we need to put their names up there. I said, no. I think everybody knows who they are, the people that matter here. Jersey numbers enough. But when I first came here, you want to embrace the past, but you don't become a prisoner of certain things. And, we're real proud of those guys. I mean, they're special. We got a few statues out there, too.